In a bold display that seemed aimed at capturing regional and global attention, Egypt rolled out a new integrated air defense and command architecture dubbed the Octagon, presenting it as a homegrown strategic leap rather than a subordinate addition to Western systems. Cairo announced the deployment of long-range S-300VM batteries, highlighting their ability to engage multiple targets at extended ranges and framing the system as a major enhancement to the country's layered anti-access and area denial capabilities. By parading modern Russian-built interceptors and support systems in high-profile ceremonies and media coverage, Egyptian authorities signaled to neighbors and rivals alike that they now possess advanced tools to contest airspace and deter outside intervention. Is Egypt building an unbreakable sky shield? Officials and analysts alike posed the question as the new systems, integration with fighter jets, and upgraded command networks suggested a step change in national air defense that could complicate any hostile calculus against Egyptian airspace. The Octagon's unveiling was accompanied by carefully choreographed demonstrations, briefings, and footage intended to communicate deterrence, strategic independence, and an intention to defend national interests with credible, modernized force. From mobile missile launchers and frontline combat aircraft to enhanced radar networks and centralized command nodes, the display combined hardware and operational concepts meant to project strength and reassure domestic and regional audiences of Cairo's military readiness. Egypt opened the Octagon military headquarters on July 4, a ceremony that Cairo framed as the start of a new strategic chapter and a clear signal that the country is entering a more integrated, resilient era of defense planning and operational command. President El-Sisi wore a military uniform to project command continuity and readiness, visually reinforcing his role at the center of the new structure and sending a public message of unity between political leadership and armed forces during a moment of heightened regional tension. The ceremony in the new administrative capital was staged before foreign military observers, underlining Egypt's intent to demonstrate transparency, deter potential adversaries, and showcase its evolving capabilities to partners and rivals alike. Egypt publicly displayed its S-300VM Antey 2500 air defense system for the first time, bringing one of the region's most capable long-range interception platforms out of secrecy and into a prominent role in national deterrence messaging. The display included 9 A-83ME transporter erector launchers of the S-300VM system, highlighting the mobile, survivable launch architecture that gives the system operational flexibility and makes it harder for an adversary to neutralize Egypt's air defense footprint. The public debut of 9 A-83ME launchers at the Octagon sent a strategic message that Egypt is willing to visibly field advanced, layered defenses and to make their presence known as part of a broader deterrent posture. The event showed Egypt pairing hardened command systems with anti-ballistic missiles, indicating an effort to create a layered, networked shield capable of defending critical assets and population centers against a range of aerial threats. The display featured Apache and Ka-52 helicopters, MiG-29M, F-16 and Rafale fighters, presenting a mixed fleet of attack and air superiority platforms that together demonstrate interoperability across Russian, American, and French-supplied hardware. Coordinated aerial maneuvers and artillery salutes showed multi-domain integration, with synchronized demonstrations intended to illustrate how air, land, and command elements can operate together under the Octagon's centralized control. The S-300VM Antey 2500 system had been kept highly secret since Russian deliveries, making the public showcase a notable departure from previous discretion and a deliberate move to alter regional perceptions of Egypt's defensive reach. Analysts see the public reveal of 9 A-83M LARs as a sign of a matured deterrence posture, interpreting the move as Cairo's effort to project capability, complicate potential aggression planning, and stabilize regional deterrence by demonstrating credible defensive capacity. The Octagon is built as a hardened C4ISR hub for centralized military decision-making, designed to consolidate command, control, communications, computers, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance into a single, resilient center that can direct operations across domains under contested conditions. The facility includes AI-enabled systems, protected data centers and joint operations nodes, combining automated analysis tools, redundant secure storage, and cross-service coordination rooms to speed decision cycles and sustain operations even under cyber or kinetic attack. The complex is often compared to the US Pentagon for scale and integrated command structure, because it brings together strategic planners, operational commanders, and technical specialists under one roof in a manner intended to streamline policy-to-action timelines and unify military efforts. The inauguration showed how long-range air defense will be embedded in national C2 networks, demonstrating that interceptors, radars, and missile launchers are now linked to centralized command nodes to enable coordinated engagement, rapid targeting, and layered protection across the country. The Middle East is seeing growing rivalry in missiles, drones, EW and air defense programs, with multiple states accelerating investments in strike, sensing, and countermeasure capabilities that together are remaking regional military balances and complicating escalation dynamics. Egypt signaled a doctrine focus on survivable command, strategic deterrence, aerospace defense, emphasizing redundancy, mobility, and integrated sensors and effectors so that leadership can maintain control and respond credibly to threats across time and distance. Octagon opening ties Egypt's new command architecture to high-end air defense, linking the physical headquarters and its networking capabilities directly to the deployed S-300VM systems and other assets to present a cohesive, modern deterrent posture. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi firmly ruled out any normalization of ties with U.S. ally Israel under the current circumstances. El-Sisi declared that lasting peace in the Middle East remains impossible until Israel's military campaign in Gaza comes to a complete end. The Egyptian president warned that Israel must end its occupation of Palestinian territories before any meaningful peace process can move forward. There will be no lasting peace, no genuine stability, and no real normalization, President el-Sisi declared in his remarks. The key U.S. ally stressed that only a just and comprehensive peace agreement can finally bring an end to the region's conflicts. El-Sisi further insisted that any future agreement with Israel must guarantee the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. Egypt's president made these remarks during the inauguration ceremony of the country's new strategic command headquarters.
There will be no lasting peace, no true stability, and no popular normalization, except with just peace that ends the occupation, puts an end to injustice and aggression, restores rights to their rightful owners, and provides security for all.
El-Sisi's remarks came shortly after Egypt unveiled its massive new military command fortress, reportedly larger than the U.S. Pentagon. Amid simmering regional tensions, Egypt has unveiled a vast new military command fortress in the desert, signaling how seriously Cairo takes future conflict planning. On July 4th, Egypt officially inaugurated the Octagon as its new defense ministry headquarters, marking a symbolic shift away from old Cairo-era command centers. The Octagon is set to become the permanent command center for Egypt's armed forces, bringing the country's top generals and planners together under one secure roof. The complex sits inside Egypt's new administrative capital east of Cairo, tying the heart of military power to the country's emerging political and bureaucratic hub. The facility sprawls across around 22,000 acres and is carved up into 13 operational zones, each designed to handle different missions in peace and wartime. 8 huge octagonal buildings will house Egypt's key military commands, concentrating decision-making and coordination inside a single heavily protected complex. Inside the new War HQ, secure communication networks link crisis centers across the complex, allowing commanders to share information in real time. At its core sits a cybersecure command hub, hardened against hacking and built to keep Egypt's military connected even under digital attack. A strategic data center lies at the heart of the Octagon, storing and processing the intelligence and battlefield data that drive every major decision. The complex is wired into early warning systems, feeding commanders alerts on incoming threats from air, land, sea, or cyberspace. It has been built to operate through national emergencies, from war and terror attacks to natural disasters and internal crises. The design ensures key government functions can stay operational, even if the rest of the country is under severe strain. Within the wider site, hospitals, schools, and housing are integrated, creating a self-contained city that can support families and personnel long-term. The elite Republican Guard secures the complex, turning the Octagon into one of the most heavily protected locations in Egypt. The site is deliberately designed to function in both peace and conflict, shifting smoothly from routine administration to full wartime footing. Overall, the Octagon is meant to deliver a major boost to Egypt's national command capabilities, tightening control over every branch of the armed forces. The project forms a central pillar of Egypt's wider military modernization drive, which aims to update doctrine, equipment, and infrastructure together. High-tech security infrastructure surrounds and saturates the complex, from surveillance systems to layered access controls built for a long, uncertain future. Israeli media has flagged Egypt's expanding military capabilities and broader defense modernization as a growing point of concern. News One said Israeli security circles are closely tracking Egypt's military upgrades, watching the trend with increasing attention. Israeli assessments are also questioning Egypt's large-scale arms purchases and the scope of its military training efforts. Some analysts believe Egypt's buildup may even exceed the threats coming from its western and southern borders. Israeli officials are monitoring Egyptian military activity across the Sinai Peninsula, where every movement is being viewed through a strategic lens. Infrastructure and logistics upgrades in Sinai are drawing particular Israeli attention, especially as they continue to expand. The Gaza war and wider regional conflicts have heightened Israeli security concerns, making the situation even more sensitive. Israel views military changes near Sinai with special strategic caution, given the area's long-standing importance to both sides. Sinai remains governed by special security terms under the 1979 peace treaty, which makes any military shift there politically significant. Despite the concerns, Egypt and Israel continue security coordination against extremists, keeping a practical channel open between them. The report links Egypt's military growth to broader Middle East security shifts, where many states are strengthening their forces.